done well, Horadrim. Your service here is finished. And you should all... run. Malthael. Why? The Nephilim will stop you.
No one can stop death.
Now that Urzael is dead, I'm going to Bramwell to find my son.
The streets are not clear. Some of our enemies remain.
I don't care.
Death comes to all.
The angels will not aid us.
There is confusion and dissension in the high heavens. You must remember, Malthael was our leader once.
All the more reason to confront him.
Imperius commands the host, and he will not unleash them on a fellow angel, especially a former member of the Angiras Council.
He will regret that.
You're not going anywhere without me.
What?
Someone has to make sure you don't kill Adria before you find out where Malthael is.
You are the first to question my restraint, Lorath. Dead angels now rest with the human corpses on the roads of Westmarch. But more will die, unless we know where Malthael is hiding. I cannot imagine how Adria came by this knowledge, but somewhere in the Blood Marsh, our answers await.
Lovely scenery here. Is this where everyone vomits after a long night at the
We hid the Black Soul Stone in the deepest part of the Nephilim ruins near here. We thought it would be safe, but Malthael found it all the same.
I consider myself an expert on all matters concerning boggits. The boggit itself is a small, odd creature given to foraging and burrowing. Under normal circumstances, it fears humans, but it can be incited to great violence when under the influence of magical objects. Rings in particular seem to excite them. Boggin is a ferocious, hulking beast with an exceedingly bad temper. Aided by packs of boggits, it will fight anything that crosses its path. Invariably, some of the boggits will die, but the survivors are rewarded with scraps left over from the Boggin's prey. If only my assistants would work for so little.
This is the entrance to the tomb, but someone's collapsed it.
What a surprise.
It looks like we'll have to find another way into the ruins. What was that?
My essence is too low.
This was just one entrance to the city. There are guide stones littered across the blood marsh that will lead us to the main one. The guide stones are useless to most, but will reveal the correct path to a Nephilim such as yourself.
Adria, this land seethes with her influence.
Remember to get the information we need before you...
I know.
Well, that's not very reassuring.
A hard fight. Time to loot.
The first time I saw a witch, she burned. Father took me to the town square to see it. Look, he said, that is the face of evil. But she looked like any other woman, and burned like anything else. Then the
Not
flames
enough
engulfed
essence.
her. Her eyes found mine, and she laughed.
I had believed my new assistant was the noisiest creature in the world, but that was before I discovered the shrieking terror. This bat-like monstrosity produces the most ear-splitting racket imaginable, and furthermore managed to make my assistant scream even louder. I think my headache will last for weeks now.
My father could never understand. He was born into privilege and wealth, and he spent every moment of his life trying to protect it. I was his flesh and blood, but he cared more about the names in books and the faces of the paintings on the walls than his living daughter.
What? I'm not dead? You have my thanks. But a word of warning. These animals carry a plague and must be killed before it spreads. To create a potion to fight it, I cut one of them open and took its innards. They smell it on me. That's why they're attacking. Here, take this as my way of saying thanks. I must get back to my work.
The Boggin Trapper's snares are surprisingly effective, though I have no idea how they learned to fashion them.
Not enough essence.
The Boggin Trapper's snares are surprisingly effective, though I have no idea how they learned to fashion them. Most of the Boggin's feeble intelligence seems to be centered around killing and eating, and in this respect, their efforts are admirable. Perhaps I should hide one of these snares near my tent when I'm sleeping.
Do you know what fear is? Fear
Not
of
enough
who
essence.
you are. Fear of what your own blood would do if they knew what you were. No, you could never understand it. People look to you as a savior. Have you ever thought about the lives you've taken? They were fathers, lovers, daughters.
This world can abide you no longer!
So, it's going to be the silent treatment, is it? This is one of the guide stones, but nothing happens when I approach it.
I will try.
There are 4 entrances to the Nephilim city, each one etched with a sigil. Only the correct one marks the true entrance to the tomb, however. When you activate these stones, one of the wrong sigils disappears.
They asked me what I see when I look into the fire. I see a burning man. I see a burning witch. I see terror and a hunger that will consume everything. What hope do the works of men have against such all-consuming hunger? I gave myself to the flames.
My essence is too low. The night embraces you! I need essence.
That was fun. What is that? I'll have to pay attention.
Another guide stone will help me find the correct passage. I cannot be sure if this is the right way. Not enough essence.
Searching for the maggot brood has been quite an adventure. I first observed the corpse of one near the road to Westmarch, where it raised such a stench that my new assistant vomited twice on my favorite traveling cloak. The stains came out eventually, but I was sorely vexed.
My insight grows. I need essence.
First time I saw a witch, she burned. Father took me to the town square to see it. Look, he said, that is the face of evil. But she looked like any other woman, and burned like anything else. Then the flames engulfed her. Her eyes found mine, and she laughed.
There's something coming, and I think it wants to hurt us.
My essence is too low. Now I know which sigil marks the correct passage.
My father could never understand. He was born into privilege and wealth, and he spent every moment of his life trying to protect it. I was his flesh and blood, but he cared more about the names in books and the faces of the paintings on the walls than his living daughter. Do you know what fear is? The fear of who you are. The fear of what your own blood would do if they knew what you were. No, you could never understand it. People look to you as a savior. Have you ever thought about the lives you've taken? They were fathers, lovers, daughters. They ask me what I see when I look into the fire. I see a burning man. I see a burning witch. I see terror and a hunger that will consume everything. What hope do the works of men have against such all-consuming hunger? I gave myself to the flames.
You will make a fine corpse. Not enough essence. Weakness consumes you. Weakness consumes you.
Remember me.
Do not fear the end. Your death nears. Weakness consumes you. The night embraces you. night embraces you! I cannot open this. Do not fear the end.
For treasure!
I need essence. The night embraces you!
My father burned. He screamed as the flames consumed him, and the smell was sickly sweet. He had found me. For once in his life he had noticed me, and when he saw that the flames did not touch me, he breathed one word. It was his last.
This is not the way to Corvus. I'm afraid not. Not enough essence.
I have uncovered an obscure and ancient tome in whose pages is recorded an impossible tale. The secret history of a race called the Nephilim, gods by another name, and their ruined civilization in the west. If this is true, how could all signs of these Nephilim be lost, but for the record of this single tome?
I've never been in these parts of the ruin. The flesh shaman was created from the blood of the witch Adria. Because of that, the shaman is able to use magic as she does, channeling the power of blood and fire. Luckily, Adria only has so much blood to shed, and not for much longer.
No longer!
The Nephilim were not gods, but our own ancestors, gifted with long life, magic, and abilities far beyond ours. Yet they were still men. I wonder if these pages hold the key to unlock their powers once again.
This is not the right entrance.
Harper's snares are surprisingly effective, though I have no idea how they learned to fashion them. Most of the Boggan's feeble intelligence seems to be centered around killing and eating, and in this respect, their efforts are admirable. Perhaps I should hide one of these snares near my tent when I'm sleeping.
Here it is, the right passage.
There's something coming, and I think it wants to hurt us. I can't believe you did that!
Not enough essence. The grave beckons. The night embraces you. My bag is full.
I had half a mind to explore the ancient ruins outside Westmarch, and then I realized they were crawling with dreadful scarabs. Of course, these creatures do not frighten me, but they make my research much too time-consuming, and I am widely known for my efficiency, am I not?
I need essence. You will make a fine corpse. Decay and rot!
The flesh shaman was created from the blood of the witch Adria. Because of that, the shaman is able to use magic as she does, channeling the power of blood and fire. Luckily, Adria only has so much blood to shed, and not for much longer.
The grave beckons. Decay and rot. Do not fear the end. Wait here, Laura.
You're going to kill her, aren't you?
Still you ask these questions.
We're all counting on you.
All must serve the cycle. Weakness consumes you. Decay and rot! All must serve the cycle. You will make a fine corpse. The grave beckons. The grave beckons.
Leah would have loved this place. Makes the drowned temple look small by comparison. If only she could see it.
You will make a fine corpse. Do not fear the end. Do not fear the end. All must serve the cycle.
I have uncovered and obscured an ancient tome in whose pages is recorded an impossible tale. The secret history of a race called the Nephilim, gods by another name, and their ruined civilization in the west. If this is true, how could all signs of these Nephilim be lost? but for the record of this single tome.
All must serve the cycle. This world can abide you no longer! This world can abide you no longer!
Not God, but our own ancestors, gifted with long life, magic, and abilities far beyond ours. Yet they were still men. I wonder if these pages hold the key to unlock their powers once again.
This world can abide you no longer! Do not fear the end.